Real YouTubers forgot to save this match. Oops. But thankfully for them, the opponent recorded it. Ooh, that was actually, normally the intro is bad, but at least it followed. Wait, where's my mouse? There it is. Normally it follows like at least a set rhythm, but this one was just, honestly, I have nothing good to say about that one. That one was just bad. Anyway, hello. What's going on, everybody? Today we're talking about my losers round 3 match versus Miguel Caballero, I believe it's pronounced. This is a match where, spoilers, if the intro, well, it's not really a spoiler, I already spoiled it. I forgot to record, so this match is from my opponent's perspective. I was really bummed because this is, okay, spoilers. This is, wait, how's the green screen? It's probably bad. Is the camera frozen? You know what, just hang on, wait. I'm gonna just do this. Because if the green screen's not bad right now, it will be in a few seconds, so let's just do this. Okay, cool. This is one of my favorite matches that I've played in a long time. So basically, it's losers round 3, and I am up against Miguel, who is the other Coalossal player in the tournament. And a Coalossal Mirror Match is very awkward, to say the least, because you can't surf without activating the other Coalossal Steam Engine if you're not careful, and you both have Urshifu Water, which is a pretty good Pokemon matching up into Coalossal. So our teams aren't the same. They are. I'm just gonna go ahead and preemptively turn this down a lot. I can't, thinking. I cannot, thinking. I can't turn any game sound on without playing the commentary as well. Commentary is fine, but it's like a little distracting to try and talk over it, so I think we'll just do it without sound, unfortunately. Just because you probably don't want to listen to two people talking at the same time, because I'm realistically just going to be talking the whole time. But yeah, basically, we don't see team preview here, but Miguel is running, let's see if I can remember. It's Rillaboom with Focus Sash, Indeedee with, I don't remember Indeedee's item, Rillaboom with Choice Band, so that's the difference between my team. Earth Power Coalossal, which is a problem. Earth Power Coalossal basically gives you a stronger matchup in the Coalossal Mirror Match, and for those of you who watch the team report, you might be aware that my Coalossal is not max speed, so they have a faster Coalossal than mine, and they have Earth Power on it, so Coalossal versus Coalossal goes into their favor. They have Celesteela, who I don't remember much about, but it doesn't come here, I wasn't that threatened by it, and the last Pokemon is, hang on, wait, Rillaboom, Indeedee, Coalossal, Urshifu. I don't remember what the last Pokemon is, but I don't think they bring it. It's not Dragapult. They don't have their own Dragapult. Or maybe it's Dragapult, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, so in this position, I realized something, which is that I kind of just autopiloted, and I'd played against Coalossal a couple times in practice, like not very often. Checking to make sure that my camera's not frozen. I played against Coalossal a couple times in practice, but basically, like, in the Coalossal Mirror Match, and this is actually useful for those of you using my team on the ladder, because I heard that it's just like everyone on ladder right now, but basically, the deal about Coalossal versus Coalossal is that the match is, like, in large part determined by the Urshifu, believe it or not. Like, the Urshifu kind of determine, like, just like an enormous part of, like, how the match is going to go. And so, yeah, so basically, like, your goal is to, like, this kind of match is so heavily structured around positioning. So the lead goes to my opponent, because leading Coalossal, when your opponent, like, both of us are always going to lead Urshifu in this matchup, so leading Coalossal literally does nothing, because you immediately are forced to switch Coalossal into Rillaboom. And yeah, and so, like, leading it does literally nothing, which I will adjust for game 2, but it's already a bit of a rough start. So they're going to go for a Follow Me and Surging Strikes into Coalossal, while I go for a switch into my Rillaboom. I have switched in Rillaboom here, and I could have played aggressively here, but, like, I didn't, since I thought they were likely to Surging Strikes my Coalossal, I didn't really want to go for an attack here, because by going for an attack here with Urshifu, I risk taking an Expanding Force, and I would be probably clicking Close Combat anyway. I could Surging Strikes the Indeedee, but, like I mentioned, I knew that Urshifu was really important in this match, so they actually just go for Follow Me, but I don't think it was necessarily a bad play to detect. However, I don't get anything out of the turn, and they will go for Surging Strikes here into my Rillaboom, so both of us still have our Focus Sash intact. Grassy Terrain is now on the field, and I take a decent chunk of damage here. Actually, no, it's not very much. It's like 20%, maybe a little bit more. After Grassy Terrain, it's not very significant. So, yeah, it doesn't do too much damage. I reset the board positioning, and I guess now the advantage is slightly in my favor. I would say, but we'll have to see how this turn goes. So in this position, I believe they just detect, and they're going to switch into their own Urshifu. It's hard to watch the beginning. I feel like the early game of this one is, like, really, I didn't play very well. So, yeah. In hindsight, it should be pretty obvious that they want to switch out their Indeedee. Yeah, you can see they have Choice Band, Rillaboom, and Coalossal in the back. So their switches, they have to switch into Rillaboom here, which is, like, it's so obvious in hindsight, but, like, I was worried that Indeedee might just go for Expanding Force here, and just try and break my Focus Sash, because they could double into my Urshifu and take it out, and yeah, that's like pretty scary. So they're actually going to, oh, huh, wait, okay, I misremember this. I don't know what happens. Okay. They switch Urshifu out. Okay. Well, I probably doubled Indeedee here. Or maybe I doubled Urshifu expecting Indeedee to switch. I don't know. But I'm going to go for Grassy Glide into the... okay. I go for Grassy Glide into the Rillaboom. Yeah, this is a really good move for my opponent's position. I Grassy Glide the Rillaboom, and I Surging Strikes into the... Or I Grassy Glide the Urshifu, and I Surging Strikes into the Urshifu. I guess what I figured here was that, like, they weren't super likely to detect the Urshifu, so I figured either I... Grassy Glide into the... like, this double up will KO Urshifu, or alternatively, if they switch into Celesteela, which I thought it was possible they might have in the back, I guess, I could still do some big damage to it, but I completely ignore the Indeedee, and they make a really good switch. Completely, like, they switch, like, 2 resistant attacks here, and to make matters worse, I lose my Focus Sash, whereas they still have their Focus Sash. So, like, basically, like, long story short is I probably should lose this game, and this turn is what determines it. When I let my Urshifu take damage for, like, not, like, without like, good reason, this is the moment where, like, my opponent still has Sash Urshifu, and I have Broken Sash Urshifu, and that's probably gonna, like, this should probably lead to my downfall. So, like, this game is really difficult because it's so positional based that, it's, like, so heavily based around positioning that there's, like, it's really hard to, it's hard to make the perfect play every turn because it's such a slow-paced game. They go for Follow Me U-turn this turn. They do have Choice Band Grassy Glide, so it makes sense in my opinion, but I believe I switched Rillaboom out here into Dragapant. Yeah, that was a really good switch on their end. That, like, really put me out of position. Skip ahead. Yeah, Dragapant comes in here and Detect, I believe, because basically, like, this allows me to scout for Choice Band, reposition, get my Grass Resistance out. They actually, actually I don't Protect here, so good move from me to get some damage on the board. This is a really risky play, but... Oh, actually, okay, wait, no. Okay, this play is actually big brain, but they counter it. So I was thinking to myself, okay, well, Urshifu might just go down here, but in order for Urshifu to go down here, as long as I don't predict a switch, which I didn't, let's say worst case scenario, right? They Grassy Glide into my Urshifu. I get to go Coalossal, and I get to send up my Coalossal, whereas they cannot send it up. And so, yeah, for that reason, that's why I made this play. Because I figured even in the worst case scenario, Urshifu goes down, but then I get Dragapult next to Coalossal, and, like, they don't have their Coalossal on the field, so I'm in the better position. However, they actually make a really smart play and go for U-turn. Though I do get some nice damage in the Indeedee here. But yeah, they go for a U-turn into my Rillaboom slot, probably predicting a Protect or maybe just wanting to reposition safely because Rillaboom doesn't have Protect, so you're guaranteed to switch it out here. It actually does a decent chunk of damage, and like given it's a U-turn resisted and I'm super bulky, and they get the switch out here. And now, yeah, this is where we start to see the pressure of this Indeedee, which, like, wasn't doing... Oh, it's Goggles Indeedee. Like, this Indeedee wasn't super... Like, it doesn't look that threatening on paper because it doesn't have that much offensive pressure, but the fact that I can't really easily break this Rillaboom's Focus Sash, and I can't protect in front of their Urshifu, and my Urshifu's Focus Sash is broken, just makes this, like, a really difficult position for me, somehow. So, yeah, and the Grassy Terrain is actually really hurting me because I can't chip down this Indeedee very easily, so I believe in this position they're just going to close combat my Urshifu. And by the way, people asked about, like, Breaking Swipe. This is a time where Breaking Swipe is really good because by switching into Rillaboom and Breaking Swiping, which I believe is what I do here, I make sure that I take at least a -1 close combat, which is, like, it's not phenomenal, but it's better than it could be. So yeah, I don't remember the Indeedee moves either. I assume it has Protect, but I'm not positive. Yeah, so I'm going to switch Urshifu out here. You can see there's so much positioning going on. Like, both of us have Coalossal, and neither of us are willing to, like, bring it in. So ideally, I am going to break the Focus Sash here, and I'm lucky that Indeedee goes for a Follow Me, meaning it's not super threatening. This turn, oh, actually, I mean, it literally does nothing because I'm ignoring it with Vasto Impacto, which is Breaking Swipe, which just looks like 37 damage to the Indeedee, but after the Grassy Terrain, it won't be enough. So, they go for close combat. I've broken their Focus Sash now, and as you can see, like, I'm pretty bulky Rillaboom. Urshifu doesn't have that high attack stat, and I lowered their attack by 1, so I'm still above 50%, which is still pretty healthy for me. And at this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm clawing some momentum back in my favor. I think I know what happens next, which is how I lose the momentum that I gained back. But, yeah, at the end of the day, if you think about this position, like, if Coalossal comes in on their side at any point, like, I think I'm just in really bad shape. Like, let's say they go for Detect Urshifu and they just sack Indeedee here, and then they get into Coalossal. Like, I really don't see how I don't just insta-lose, right? Like, there's really no way for me to get around that because, yeah, which I think is probably going to influence my decision in the next turn. So, the Urshifu, like, I can get either Mon with Grassy Glide. So, yeah, they actually make a really interesting play here, and I don't fall for it, but, yeah, they make a good play. I really don't want to give this Coalossal a free switch in, so I'm trying to figure out if I can find a way to, like, not not give them that free switch in. So I'm going to switch into my Coalossal here, predicting a Detect, which is correct. I'm actually going to go for a Light Screen here, I think. Follow me. Yeah, the reason why they went for Detect Follow Me is they also realized that if Coalossal comes in this position, they're in such a good position, like, and I can't really do anything about it. So, in this position, I actually just go for Light Screen, because I don't want to give them the free switch in. Now, I like what I was going with here, but I don't really see what this does for me, because now I have Coalossal on the field, Coalossal's good, but, I don't really know. I honestly don't know why I switched Coalossal in here, because I think I just didn't want to give them the free switch, but, I don't know, did I want to reset Grassy Terrain? I actually have no idea why I switched in Coalossal here. What was I thinking? I don't, maybe I predicted Urshifu to switch out? No, I really don't know what I was thinking. I'm trying to figure it out. Why did I switch Coalossal in? Oh, maybe I thought Rillaboom could switch in. Okay, I think that must have been it. I think I thought that Urshifu was going to go for Detect and maybe Rillaboom switches in, or maybe Indeedee goes for Protect and Rillaboom switches in. I don't even know if Indeedee had Protect. Yeah, I guess, if I want to make a read like that, because I've broken the Focus Sash on the Urshifu, and because I have an attack drop, the Aqua Jet isn't that threatening, so I maybe could have gone for something there, I guess. I really don't know, honestly. It doesn't make that much sense to me. Maybe I was reading something, or I don't know. I'll have to ask Past Wolf, but I actually have no idea. But yeah, now I'm at a position again where that switch is really bad, because I still can't get through the stupid Indeedee, and my Breaking Swipes are not going to work against the triple crit move of Surging Strikes, and we know that my Rillaboom's getting kind of low at this point as well, so I'm definitely in trouble at this point. I'm at a position, their Urshifu is putting, this Urshifu plus Indeedee means that I can't KO the Urshifu, so the dynamic at play here is that, because I can't KO Urshifu without Indeedee going down, and Indeedee won't go down until, Indeedee will not go down until, or when Indeedee does go down, Coalossal gets to come in, and I'm trying to not let Coalossal get in the field at the same time as the Urshifu. Does that make sense? The goal is to not let Urshifu next to Coalossal for them, because their Coalossal's faster and Oka's on my whole team at this point. And I can't deny the Coalossal coming in without KOing Indeedee and then KOing Urshifu, and I can't do that, because it's not, I can't do it. So maybe what I should have done here is Breaking Swipe Max Guarded, and then Max Grass next turn, or Surf Max Grassed. But even then, they can always just Detect Urshifu, so I really don't know what I'm supposed to do in this position. It's this is all because I let my Urshifu take damage earlier. Yeah, so oopsie. And this is the advantage of Indeedee over Dragapult for them right now, is that they're protecting their Urshifu really well, which is what they need. And all these Breaking Swipes that I'm launching right now are they're making it so that their Aqua Jets can do even less to their Coalossal at the end, when they do decide to go for the Aqua Jet. So maybe I was trying to make it so I could have Fake Out pressure against the Urshifu. I honestly have no idea. I actually have no idea why I switched Coalossal in. But they go for Follow Me again. This is their best move. Yes, they could have gotten more damage out because I'm not clicking an attacking move, but they really want to make sure that Urshifu does not go down, so it's their safest move. I go for another Breaking Swipe here, and I'm going to take a Surging Strikes as well. So, yeah. I did get the Light Screen up, which I'm trying to... Oh, so yeah, the reason I set Light Screen up is because I'm trying to make sure I don't get auto loss to Coalossal. I'm trying to find any way I can get around this Coalossal. But yeah, it's not working super well, truthfully. And this is a time where having Woodhammer would have been really good, because with Woodhammer, I can actually go for Breaking Swipe, KO the Indeedee, and then Woodhammer, KO the Urshifu, and try and get my 2 KOs at once. However, yeah, I don't have Woodhammer, I have Grassy Glide. So in order to KO, I can KO the Indeedee with Grassy Glide, but then I would have to go for, then I wouldn't be able to KO the Urshifu. And although I could burn it, yeah, it's not enough. And because of the Grassy Terrain, this Indeedee is actually going to be out of Breaking Swipe range next turn, so I'm overall just in a really rough position. Yeah, this is not going well, and neither of us have maxed either. So yeah, my opponent's trying to figure out what to do here. It's a bit of an awkward position, because what you don't want to have happen is... Oh, actually, that's a really good switch. Oh, wait, that's actually... Okay. So they don't want me to... what they don't want to have happen is they really don't want to let me KO both Pokemon at once. Actually, I'm not entirely sure why they switched out here, because I really couldn't KO both Pokemon at once in the same turn, but... maybe they didn't want to let Urshifu get burned either. I'm not entirely sure, but they're actually going to switch into Coalossal here, and go for a Detect with Urshifu, because this basically means they've decided, okay, it's time to launch the Steam Engine card. So I actually do use Grassy Glide here into the Coalossal, so I get a bit of damage here onto the Coalossal, and I go for Will-O-Wisp into the Urshifu. I think from my position, I was like, this is the best I can get. I can get a burn on the Urshifu and a KO on the Indeedee, but yeah, so now is where things get kind of difficult. So Coalossal is next to Urshifu, and I've also dropped the Urshifu's attack, I believe, twice. So I can't stop them from setting up Coalossal at all. So I'm trying to figure out what to do here, and I realized, listen, all right, Dragapult is still a good Pokemon. They're actually considering it. They're considering not going for Aqua Jet here, which is interesting. But yeah, okay, yeah, they've decided they're just going to Aqua Jet and they're going to go for Vocalith. This is by far their best move, in my opinion. Yeah, like this is 100% their best move. I can't stop it at all. So they're gonna go for Vocalith into Dragapult. I realize that the only way I'm getting out of this one is if I somehow stall the max turn. So I think what I'm doing here is, I think I decided to switch Dragapult and Urshifu. I can't remember if I'm doing this as a sack or if I'm thinking that if this is a coverage option. So Urshifu comes in here, but you see it's pretty low HP and it's going to be even lower after the Vocalith. So I think my thought process here is like, if they KO the... Wait, let's think about this. If they KO Urshifu, then like they were KOing that slot anyway, and it's better to lose Urshifu here than to lose Dragapult. And if they were KOing Rillaboom, then I can get Urshifu next to Coalossal and maybe like do something with that position, like force them to KO only one and have two Pokemon that can chunk Coalossal. So maybe that's what I was thinking, but it doesn't seem very good to me. So actually, yeah, that doesn't even make sense. So I don't know. I guess I must have just been predicting that they were going after Dragapult because Rillaboom wasn't threatening to them anymore. So and identifying that preserving Dragapult at this point in the game is not useful, or is probably my only way back into this, because I'm not going to be able to like with Light Screen up I might be able to take a hit, maybe. I kind of doubt it, but yeah, that's like my only chance. So they go for Aqua Jet, they don't crit themselves, they do very little damage, and Grassy Terrain is up. So yeah, Steam Engine activates, Weakness Policy activates here. And they're just going to go for a Vocalith into my Urshifu slot. But first, I will finally be able to get rid of their Urshifu. So both Urshifu go down this turn after sticking around for the entirety of the game. Grassy Glide takes out their Urshifu, and their Vocalith is going to take out my Urshifu as well. So although we trade Urshifus, the difference is that they have... they've used one turn of their max, but they also got the Rocks up, number one. And number two... they are boosted and their Steam Engine, and they have Max Quake. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm like, okay, Wolf Click back against the wall, like, but like times a million, right? Like, there's no way out of this one, right? But I'm not gonna give up, right? I've seen me win these, but definitely feeling like my back's against the wall a little bit here. Like, I'm down a Pokemon, or like we're tied in Pokemon, and I've done more damage, I think, because the Indeedee has, we're like pretty roughly equal in damage, but yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I'm getting out of this one. So I go into Coalossal here, because basically in this position, I'm only winning if I get a cup. I have to be really aggressive, and I have to make hard reads. And if I go into Dragapult, they can just max Vocalith here. So I have to at least make, like, show the threat of maxing my Coalossal, or else it's like, it's actually mega curtains. Sorry, I said maxing Coalossal. I need to threaten a max guard here, because I need this to, like, not just be free moves for them. I need to force them to make choices. If they go for a max, a max Vocalith into my Coalossal, for example, or a max Quake, and maybe because of the Light Screen I survive, I can fire back with a super effective move, and by going to Dragapult, I don't actually exert any pressure, so I need to at least, like, be decisive in one way or another. So they're going to go for a Follow Me here, because, yeah, there's no reason really not to, and their safest move, and this is what I was banking on, was for them to go for a max Rockfall into my, or Vocalith into my Rillaboom here, or a Flare, but I believe it's a Rockfall. It could be either. It actually doesn't matter. It just can't be Quake, because Quake won't KO. And I'm trying to think, like, so they're going to go for Vocalith this turn, and spoilers, I time out this turn. I literally run out of time because I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do. Because I know that I can hard read them to attack with Indeedee, or attack into my Rillaboom, and I'm trying to think about, like, the future turn, and if I could do anything, and I'm trying to think about what happens if they target Coalossal, and all this, like, what-if stuff, and I can't really think of anything for Rillabooms to do, so I actually time out, and so it selects the move that's in my first slot, which is Fake Out. Thankfully, I timed out in Rillaboom and not Coalossal. Like, I do get to make my move with Coalossal, which, is still good. But, yeah. So I saw people, like, when I was watching this on stream, I saw people were, like, super confused about this, but I do decide to max here. I think my thought process was that, like, if they Quake me, I don't know, I didn't calc it, or maybe I calculated at random time, I don't know, but I was thinking, like, I think I have to max here, because I'm not even sure Heat Wave will KO Indeedee because it's pretty weak, and yeah, I basically just need this Indeedee gone, and I want to get the Vocalith up as soon as possible, because frankly I might not get another chance to do it. So yeah, so Rillaboom's going to go for Fake Out here, and it fails because I timed out, and it failed because of Psychic Terrain and because it wasn't the first turn. They're going to go for Follow Me here, and their safest move, I agree, is just target down the Rillaboom, because what you don't want to have happen is, yeah, I don't know, like, their Coalossal's in such a better spot than mine because it's boosted, and it has Earth Power. Like, this is a big deal, but, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I timed out. I couldn't think of anything there. But I do get rid of Indeedee, and it's technically a 2 versus 2, and Dragapult matches it pretty favorably into the Rillaboom. However, this is where my mistake from earlier came in, which is that I set Light Screen up earlier to try and like predict a Coalossal switch in, but I don't have Light Clay. So my Light Screen actually ends this turn, which is really unfortunate because I kind of needed that Light Screen to go up. So in this position, I'm like, okay, if they go for a Vocalith into my Dragapult and a Superpower into my Coalossal, I lose no matter what, because Vocalith KOs my Dragapult, and then I can't beat, like, first of all, I can't even beat this Coalossal. Second of all, their Coalossal has Earth Power, and I'm assuming Superpower, like, in Max will plus, like, will probably do, like, or Superpower with Choice Band will probably do, like, stupid amounts of damage, right? So, if they Vocalith and Superpower, maybe in the best case scenario I KO the Coalossal, but I don't think I take 2 Choice Band Superpowers, so I'm like, well, it's not looking good, right? Like, it's looking pretty bad, so I'm like, okay. If they Superpower and Vocalith, I'll lose no matter what I do, right? So I need to count on them misplaying here and making a different move, right? So I'm gonna say, okay, I think I'm gonna lose this one, but my only chance of winning is that I need them to max Quake the Coalossal. I think that's my only out here. I need them to go for Max Quake, and I'll go for Max Guard and Light Screen, because if they Max Quake and do something with Rillaboom, like if they double Coalossal, or even if they attack into Dragapult, like by getting up Light Screen here, I'm actually like gonna I at least extend the game, right? Because this is their last turn of Max. So I do this. I go for Max Guard here because if they Vocalith and Superpower, I don't think I can do anything about that. I think that's game over. I also yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would take less from Choice Band Superpower than I thought. But yeah, it works out anyway. Go for Max Guard, they go for Max Quake, and that might just seem like a dead turn because neither Coalossal attack and I take damage. But number one, I get Light Screen up, but number two, their Coalossal Gigantamax ends here, and I have 1 turn left, which means, like, normally Coalossal can't really beat Coalossal because, the Coalossal can't beat Coalossal because, checking camera, because, like, Meteor Beam is a 2-turn move, and Solar Beam needs Sun to be up, so you're only smacking each other with Heat Wave, but my opponent has Earth Power. So if they had a Solar Beam here, then I would actually be in, like, a pretty decent spot, I think, because yeah, like I would have Light Screen up, and they wouldn't be able to hit me, but they still have +2 Earth Power, and they have Choice Band Grassy Glide, which is what they locked into. So I run a calc, and I see that Max +2 Max Vocalith into Coalossal with Protect KOs through Protect, and I don't think my opponent knows that. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's say like if I Surf and Max Vocalith here into the Coalossal, Surf has a chance, I think, maybe to KO their Coalossal, like because they're not as bulky, and I feel like it does like. I feel like it does about, like, I feel like it does, like, 30% to non-bulky Coalossal, and they're, like, at 60%, and the 30% is if it's maxed, so, then the Vocalith would be redirected, and I would potentially get them that way, and if they max guard here, then, if they max guard, then, I can KO them through the max, or not max guard, if they protect here, then I can KO them through their protect, so, if Coalossal goes down, I can play a 1 versus 1 versus the Rillaboom, and if like they target Coalossal this turn, maybe I can take another Grassy Glide and go for Will-O-Wisp. If they target Dragapult, maybe I can, survive a Choice Band Grassy Glide and go for a Heat Wave. So that's my thought process here. I think that Surf has a decent chance to KO, and I don't know, like I feel like at this moment I'm feeling in my heart, I'm like they're gonna protect. Like they want to stall at the last turn of my max, and they don't think that Vocalith will KO at +2, but I had calced it, so I knew that it would. So I actually on one of the later turns of the game, and for one of my latest ever Dynamax Coalossal setups, they go for Protect, and I actually go for Surf here. I think if you're from my opponent as well, like, what you're probably expecting is, like, Will-O-Wisp into Rillaboom and just max Vocalith into your Coalossal, because you, like, yeah, like, I don't think it really, like, makes that much sense. Like, or I think the obvious play is just to get the burn on the Rillaboom so that it's, like, not doing any damage, and if the Coalossal attacks you, like, it'll activate the weakness policy anyway, so you don't really need to Surf here. But yeah, they're going to go for a Grassy Glide, and because my Dragapult is so bulky, even with the Vocalith chip damage, I actually managed to hang on just a little bit, though I won't live the next one. But I go for Surf, like I mentioned, and I see that the timer's 3 minutes, so like this game has taken so long. Yeah, because of the Light Screen and because my Coalossal's bulkier than theirs, I do survive, or I take like nothing from the Surf, which is actually kind of important, so that's really nice. And I go for Vocalith, which, as you'll see here, picks up the KO on the Coalossal through Protect, which is kind of ridiculous, but I thought it would do about as much, so I was very grateful for that. However, they have 1 turn left of Vocalith, I have 2 turns left of Vocalith, and they are going to KO my Dragapult. So that's the end of Dragapult. Rillaboom takes some more chip, but it's not like they're still not in range of 1 more of those, so it doesn't really matter. I'm always going to have to hit them with 1 more move. and my Dynamax end. So this is still Choice Band, Rillaboom, and Grassy Terrain. So I'm not feeling like 100%, especially because Heat Wave can miss. So let's see, Rillaboom came in, Grassy Glide twice. I believe there's like I think there's 3 turns left of Grassy Terrain if I've counted correctly. I think it's only Grassy, yeah, Grassy Glided twice. So I think at this position, I'm not trying to win on timer because I'm not sure that I will. So I just go for Protect here because the idea here is that if I Protect, that's 3 turns of Grassy Terrain, Heat Wave misses, 4 turns of Grassy Terrain, Protect, 5 turns of Grassy Terrain, and I can Heat Wave again. So I'm actually incentivized to move quickly here and hope that, like, if I'm going to lose on timer, which I guess I probably wouldn't, but I wasn't sure at this point, that I would have enough time to go for Heat Wave, Protect, Heat Wave, and win the game that way. So I'm clicking on my moves quickly. They have no choice, so they're just clicking Grassy Glide. They might be thinking about, oh yeah, 2 turns of Grassy Terrain left. Yeah. So yeah, this battle's been almost 20 minutes, by the way, which is like, it's very long for a battle. They go for Grassy Glide here. It does a good chunk of damage to Coalossal, but Colossal's so physically bulky that I would have even lived a crit, and Heat Wave comes out and connects, and I win the game after 18 or 19 very, very long minutes. So yeah, kind of clawed this one back. This was like very back against the wall, like thought that this one was over for sure. Before we move on to game 2 of the set, I do want to quickly take a couple moments just to point out a couple things that I thought were really important. The first thing is that, so this situation where it's Rillaboom versus Coalossal Rillaboom, and I go for Fake Out, haha, and Dynamax Coalossal, like, I could have maybe KO'd the Indeedee with Heat Wave. How much HP was it at? I actually don't know. Hang on, sorry. Follow me. How much HP was it at? Sorry. It was at 24 HP. So in hindsight, Heat Wave would have KO'd. And so maybe like what maybe some people thought might have been the proper move there is to go for Heat Wave. Therefore, like, you're pretty much likely to hit anyway. And if you hit, like, you get a little bit extra chip damage in Coalossal, you do like nothing, so it doesn't matter. But basically, like, you have an extra turn of max. You can max the next turn and then go from there. But so this decision to max early here, which is normally not something I'm a big proponent of, is really important because in this position where their Dynamax is ended, and I only have 1 turn left of Dynamax here, they go for Protect in that position, right? They Protect here because they think, okay, well, like, the Dynamax is about to end, so I may as well, like, go for Protect to stall out the last turn of Dynamax, and because they Protect, I have a really clean end game, which I wouldn't have had otherwise. So if I like, let's say I had 2 turns of max here, they probably would have just Earth Powered, and this could make the end game really, really, really messy for me. So yeah, like, especially if Surf plus Max plus Earth Power plus Grassy Glide. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think I would definitely lose in that position as long as Surf doesn't. If Surf doesn't KO Coalossal, then it's an auto loss for me, I think. So by maxing early, I actually was able to control the psychology of my opponent to get them to Protect where they might not have otherwise, and forced what, like, might look like a 50-50, but to me didn't feel like a 50-50 because I was pretty sure they'd Protect, which is why I even went for Surf in the first place. Yeah, does that make sense? So basically by maxing earlier, I ended max a turn earlier, which was, like, able to force a defensive play. Now, this isn't something that I like planned inherently, but I don't remember exactly what I was thinking deciding to max earlier here at the Indeedee turn, and yeah. The other thing is that, okay, let's talk about Light Screen, because Light Screen kind of really important in this match. I think Light Screen, like, getting the Light Screen up earlier, and then again, like, this turn where I max guard, and then, yeah, it was after this where I max guard Coalossal, they max Quake it, they Grassy Glide Dragon Bolt, and I set Light Screen again. The psychology of having Light Screen on the field, I think, was really important, because even though Light Screen actually doesn't block, like, a single relevant attack, just by being on the field for 10 turns, like, it literally doesn't impact the course of the game at all on paper. In actual, like, watching the match, it actually impacts the psychology of my opponent a lot, because it makes them unsure about whether or not their Max Quake and their Max Vocalith are going to do enough damage to my Coalossal. Like, maybe if Light Screen isn't up here, they just go for, like, in the Indeedee turn, where Indeedee goes for Follow Me, I Fake Out, and then they Max Quake, or they Max Vocalith, take out Rillaboom. Like, maybe they would have attacked Coalossal without Light Screen, right? And also, because Light Screen is up at the end of the game, they're more likely, like, I think without Light Screen, they can just Grassy Glide Earth Power, but, like, with Light Screen, being up, they're, like, less confident in their damage output. So even though literally it only blocked my Surf, which at that point didn't matter anyway, it still had a really, really big impact on the match because it controlled the way that my opponent played. So these are really kind of subtle intricacies that I think most people watching this match probably wouldn't notice, but I wanted to point out for you all who watched the analysis of it because, yeah, like, I think that it's pretty easy stuff to miss, but like, I think that both of those, like, kind of really small minutia, like, a Dynamax a turn earlier, which looked stupid, and then, like, a Light Screen that was on the field for 10 turns, blocked one attack, and it was my own attack, and, like, it didn't impact the match at all. Like, you might think those moves were wasted, but they really, really helped in the conditioning and the way that my opponent felt about the match. So, yeah, so that was, I think, kind of a big deal. Now let's talk about game 2. Does that make sense? I think that this match in particular is so interesting, and, like, these little details, like the expecting to protect to stall at the left turn to max, the serving myself to make sure I get my weakness policy off, like the early Dynamax, like, this is a game where, like, from this board state, where is it? From this board state, they max Coalossal and set Aqua Jet, like, 10 minutes into the match, I should lose, right? I think we can all agree with that. It should be a loss at this point in the game, but I actually am able to win 8 minutes later, which is, like, just kind of crazy, given, like, if you were to say, okay, who would win? Boosted Earth Power, faster Coalossal, Indeedee with low HP, Rillaboom Choice Band, or a team where, like, all the Pokemon get KO'd by... Actually, at this point, Urshifu's already down, so Rillaboom with Assault Vest, Coalossal with slower and no Earth Power, and Dragapult with no, like, way to damage Coalossal. Like, there's really no way I should have been able to win this, but I somehow was able to anyway, so I don't know. I think this is a really interesting match. But yeah, commentators doing some good commentary stuff. Shout out to all the commentators, by the way. Casters, I think is what we call them now. They did an amazing job this weekend. Anyway, game 2. I learned my lesson, okay? Why am I leading Coalossal into Urshifu? And my opponent learned the wrong lesson. They led Coalossal into Urshifu. So, yeah. We see Herbogenesis activating on the Rillaboom, setting up the grassy terrain. And from the get-go, this is already a much better start, because now my opponent is forced to switch out Coalossal. And they only have one switch into my Urshifu on the whole team, which is the Rillaboom. So I'm able to actually capitalize on that a little bit. Now, I'm going to make a risky turn 1 here. I think I maybe cover it a little bit. With my move, but, like, I'm like, there's no way that there's, like, the obvious move for me is fake out into Urshifu, and Surging Strikes into the Coalossal, right? Because there's, like, that ensures that the steam engine doesn't go off. But of course they're going to switch here. So I'm like, okay, I learned my lesson. That Urshifu was a problem for me last game. Let's get some damage on it immediately. So I'm not even going to bother attacking the Coalossal here. They're going to go for Detect, but the thing is that you can't Detect in front of Urshifu. So I go for Fake Out into the Urshifu just to kind of, like, just in case they wanted to get really crazy and hard read my my ignoring the Coalossal. I figure let's just check it with Fake Out just in case. Like, the only better option here was I could have, like, knocked off the Coalossal slot, or I could have U-turn into the Coalossal slot. Like, if I U-turn Coalossal, I'm, like, in really good shape here, but even still, like, the momentum has already shifted pretty significantly, because now Urshifu has 79 HP left, which is lower than I got at, like, the entirety of the last game, right? Until I actually KO'd it. So, and my Urshifu still has the Focus Sash, and the Sash is still intact. So, and Indeedee's not in the field, so I have a close combat into this Urshifu at any point to pick up a KO, and I'm in pretty good shape with that. So this is much better, and their Urshifu is in range of Grassy Glide as well. So, yeah, they're forced to switch out here basically, because and the other thing is that they can't even make a really aggressive switch to Coalossal inside Aqua Jet because they have it Dynamaxed, and the attack will do like 60 to 70%. So they can't risk that right now. And they just detected, so they can't detect again. So overall, I'm in pretty good shape. Their options here are basically they can try and, yeah, they actually have a couple options. They can try and play really aggressive and take out my Urshifu. But they make a really good move here. They played really well this set, honestly. They're just gonna make they're gonna ignore my Urshifu, knowing that I don't want to let my Urshifu go down. And they're going to switch into their Indeedee here. But you can already see the Urshifu, like, unlike last game, is forced off of the field, which, like, I feel like didn't happen at all in the last game. Like, I think that Urshifu just sat in the field the entire game. And it was a real problem for me. And the thing is that, like, when Urshifu's not on the field, when it's not allowed to sit in the field like that, it's pretty good for me because, like, it means that I can kind of play a little bit more flexibly and put a little bit more pressure on my opponent because I'm not worried about Coalossal coming in and instantly sweeping me. But yeah, I decided at this point, I want to save my Focus Sash. Like, this thing's important. I learned that game 1. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. And Dragapult's such a safe switch in here because it totally just demolishes Urshifu Water for me. And it beats Rillaboom at this point. So yeah, they're going to go for U-turn here. I am unfortunately going to take the hit this time. And you can see Choice Band Rillaboom, despite my Rillaboom being really bulky, does a lot of damage. So yeah, I think they're actually going to go into Coalossal here because they really don't want to let Urshifu take damage. And they're probably a little afraid that I would have maybe hard read this. But yeah, Coalossal is going to switch in here. And I go for, I believe, a Grassy Glide into the Indeedee. I figured it was better just to, like, in case they did decide to double my Urshifu, which I thought was a decent chance, like getting rid of their Urshifu was probably game-winning. So their Coalossal's in the field now, but it doesn't have its nice Urshifu partner next to it to support it. So yeah, it's not in as nice of a position as you would normally prefer to be with Coalossal. So and And you can see that their position is awkward, right? They're like trying to figure out like, okay, Colossal's in the field, but I can't set it up, and like Indeedee up here, but it doesn't really want to redirect for Coalossal, and like this Rillaboom's annoying and the Dragapult's annoying. So yeah, they're actually gonna go for Expanding Force here, which I agree with, and Heat Wave actually as well. So yeah, good moves overall. I'm gonna go for Light Screen here. I think Light Screen's great. I don't really have anything better to do with Dragapult, and setting this up early is nice just because I might not get a chance later. They go for Expanding Force, but thanks to the Light Screen and thanks to my Assault Vest, I actually don't take very much damage at all on Rillaboom, and I'm able to go for Ujin here, which is pretty nice. Like, even low HP Rillaboom is pretty valuable for this kind of team, so yeah. If they didn't have Earth Power, I would have, in a heartbeat, switched to my Coalossal here. I would have taken a Heat Wave, it would have gotten Steam Engine up, and I probably would have won the game from that position. However, I do know they have Earth Power, and I see that their Coalossal has not clicked. Gigantamax, which means it's either clicking Heat Wave or Earth Power, and I am not about to switch in my Coalossal to an Earth Power. So I think, okay, that leaves me no option. I have to go into Urshifu. I didn't really expect them to stay in here or just attack, but yeah, they go for Heat Wave. It's a good move because it breaks my Urshifu's Focus Sash, but the position is still like in my favor at this point. So Urshifu, this is like, I feel like in this game in particular, I took such big advantage of the fact that you can't protect in front of Urshifu. Like I feel like I just did so much work with it this game because like what Coalossal can max guard, sure, but then like you've wasted a max turn and like you have to just let Indeedee go down here and then yeah, actually, it's even if you max guard and then plan to go into Urshifu next turn. Oh, we're getting comments about this. You can Aqua Jet yourself in Psychic Terrain. You can't Aqua Jet your opponents in Psychic Terrain. Psychic Terrain protects from priority moves for all Pokemon touching the ground, but it doesn't work on side priority. So you can always Grassy Glide yourself. Well, okay, you can't Grassy Glide priority in Psychic Terrain. You can Fake Out yourself. You can Feint yourself. You can always use priority moves on yourself, regardless of if Psychic Terrain is up. So Aqua Jet, like even with Psychic Terrain up, they still have the option of like potentially max guard, follow me, make sure Indeedee goes down, and then from there, going for their Urshifu and then side Aqua Jetting and maxing. But like because they don't have a grass move, I don't think it would work very well at all. So yeah, they're in a really awkward position here. So you can see they're trying to figure out what to do here. Coalossal not being able to protect in front of Urshifu is making it like omega awkward in this position. Like it's like very unclear as to what it's supposed to do, and it's like basically Colossal's forced out here. In my opinion, Coalossal it can't stay in here because Breaking Swipe will KO the Indeedee, and then like you'll just eat a Surging Strikes and lose the game. So knowing that my opponent is forced to switch into something, and knowing Colossal's a Rock type, I actually don't even have to click Surging Strikes here because I think it's basically super unlikely that they max. So I can just go for a close combat here and continue to put damage down against this team. So Rillaboom's going to come in here. It's going to activate Grassy Terrain, which is nice. The recovery, like my Pokemon really appreciate the recovery, in my opinion. Yeah, so they go for Follow Me. They are going to try and reduce as much damage as possible taken, and they want Indeedee gone at this point. It's like they need to be able to reposition, but because of the earlier damage I did on the Urshifu, they can't switch Urshifu in here, and we're doing such a good job of preventing Urshifu and Coalossal from being on the field at the same time. Breaking Swipe activates here, it's dropping, Rillaboom's attack, which is actually pretty relevant in my opinion, being able to drop the attacks out of this Rillaboom, and I'm going to go for Close Combat, because like I mentioned, it hits Coalossal for super effective damage, and I was pretty sure they were forced out anyway, so in terms of damage dealt this game, I'm in a much better position. Their Urshifu's damaged, their Coalossal isn't damaged, but I'm up a Mon, and although my Rillaboom is damaged, like the Mons that I've damaged are much more influential than like the Rillaboom, which is just like basically a defensive switch in to deal with the Urshifu anyway, because it's not like my Rillaboom can't deal with their Rillaboom, and it also can't deal with... My Rillaboom can't do anything here except be defensive. So they are going to go to Coalossal here, which is interesting, because now they can Grassy Glide me and KO my Urshifu, which is, yeah, pretty scary. So I'm actually not sure entirely what I do in this position. I think I just sack my Rillaboom. I'm pretty sure. So they're going to... what do they even do here? Protect Coalossal makes sense, and Grassy Glide into the... Yeah, I actually don't know what they do here. Oh, Max Vocalith. It's an aggressive play. I wonder if they go through with it. Yeah, they actually Vocalith and switch here. So that's a really good move. They're basically taking advantage of the fact that, like, they're making a hard read here, and it's going to work out. Because in no world am I leaving my Urshifu, you know, in front of this Coalossal to just, like... Or in front of this Rillaboom to just go down. So they make a really aggressive, really hard read here. And they're going to go for a Vocalith into my Dragapult and a switch to try and give themselves the momentum to win this game. So, and here's where things start to get interesting. So they go for Vocalith, etc., into my Dragapult trying to get some damage down, and I switch in Rillaboom, who's pretty low HP. I don't think it's in range of a Vocalith, but I didn't really expect them to max here. But they make a really good, really aggressive play. Like this is one of the most aggressive plays that we've seen, like all set, like hard reading, basically saying, okay, if this goes wrong in any way, I'm super done for. But Yeah, they go for a... I go for a Breaking Swipe. I lower Urshifu's attack, which is going to be very relevant later, and they go for a Vocalith here. So I would have preferred if my Pokemon get knocked out here, but I think they actually both narrowly survive with like 1 HP, which is less than ideal. But yeah, oh, not 1 HP, but Dragapult's in range of 2, and Rillaboom I think is in range of... yeah, it's not in range right now. So because of the light screen, I would have been okay if my Rillaboom had fainted here, but because it survives, it's actually like pretty rough for me because... yeah, now I don't get the free switch into my Urshifu, and I can't stop them from setting up their Vocalith, so... Or for setting up their Steam Engine. So Rillaboom survives with 1 HP. That's really bad for me because... Okay, if that KOs, then I can go into my own Urshifu, and I can just max Surging Strikes and KO the Coalossal, regardless of what they do. I guess they could max Flare me, but yeah, like, it would still be in my favor, I think, and... yeah, now they're going to get both my Pokemon at once, so I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of bad. But yeah, they go for Max Quake here, I think, or... Yeah, and it's at this point that I realize what I have to do, I think, which is that, okay, the Grassy Terrain has been up for 2 turns, right? I think that's what it's been up for. This is the 3rd turn of Grassy Terrain, which means that, like, keep in mind that my opponent, our Coalossal, haven't interacted at all in a situation where they'd be speed tying, because one of us was always protecting or max guarding or unboosted. So he doesn't know, my opponent doesn't know that, my opponent does not know that their Coalossal is faster than my Coalossal. But I know that there's no way in heck that my weird speed Coalossal is faster than their Coalossal. So maxing my Coalossal is basically just saying, like, I'll lose the game for sure, right? So I can't max Coalossal anymore. But I realize, hey, I've got this Urshifu. I got damage on the Rillaboom, and the Grassy Terrain's going to run out in 2 turns. And they only have 1 Pokemon in the back, which is the Rillaboom. So they're going to go for a Detect here, which is really smart. Because yeah, like I don't they don't want to fake out plus Breaking Swipe here, which might KO them, which I believe is just what I go for here. Maybe yeah, there's fake out, and then I go for a Breaking Swipe again. Yeah, I think that was my best out here, is hoping that they just go for an Aqua Jet and are a little greedy, and hoping that fake out plus Breaking Swipe KOs, because that way they don't get Steam Engine off. But they make the right play, and they go for Max Quake here into my Rillaboom, just getting the KO. And I lose both my Pokemon at once. So they have 1 turn left of Max, and they can still set up here. And they have 2 turns left of Vocalith. So I'm like, okay, I know what I have to do. Basically, my hope is that I go into Urshifu this turn. They're not going to expect me to max Geyser here, or max Gmax Surging Strikes. And the thing is that this hits through Max Guard. So even if they make some kind of play where, like, they want to hard read, like, side Aqua Jet plus Vocalith into their Coalossal, so they go for Max Guard. It doesn't matter because Gmax Urshifu hits through Max Guard. So I'm like, wait a second, I can cover all the options. There's 2 turns of Grassy Terrain left, right? I go into Coalossal. Coalossal's just bait here. Coalossal's a red herring, right? Coalossal comes in. Urshifu comes in, okay? I'm feeling pretty good. Max Urshifu, attacking the Coalossal. It's a guaranteed KO unless they go for Max Flare, which, like, they're not going to do. And they can't even Max Guard in front of it because, well, like, you can't Max Guard in front of Gmax Rapid Blow or whatever it's called, Rapid Flow. So then it's a 1 versus 2, right? They're going to go for Aqua Jet into their Coalossal this turn. They're going to KO my Coalossal. That's their move. So then it's a 2 versus 1. I can Max Guard on the last turn of Grassy Terrain, then Max Knuckle on the turn after that, KOing the Rillaboom, and then it's a 1 versus 1 of Urshifu versus Urshifu. I have +1 attack, and they have -1 attack. But I will tell you, in the spirit of being completely honest with my viewers, I forgot that Breaking Swipe was on the Urshifu because there were so many layers going on in my head, and I had to plan so many turns ahead. I, like, totally forgot about the Breaking Swipe. So I actually might, like, at some point later when I realized that I counted Max turns wrong, because I thought I would have 2 turns in Max to attack the Urshifu, but I kind of forgot about the Max Guard turn when I was counting. I thought that would come down to a speed tie of basically, like, if my close combat moves first, then I'll win the game, and if their close combat moves first, then I'll lose the game. That was kind of what I expected, but yeah, we see the plan activating now. They're not expecting Gmax Urshifu here because they have Choice Band Rillaboom in the back, and they're probably not... I didn't see them check the Grassy Terrain turn, so it's not really something that's on their mind. They're just worried about my maxing Coalossal and going for a speed tie. That's probably what's in their head, but again, I know it's not a speed tie. So Aqua Jet comes out, it activates all of its Coalossal's little whistles and bells. Is that a phrase? Is that what that phrase means? Anyway, it starts going burr, right? If I were playing this kind of the part of Coalossal in a movie, this would be kind of my dramatic moment, right? But it goes for Max Quake. Some people ask me why I didn't protect Coalossal here. There's no world in which protecting Coalossal does anything. Like, if you think about it, like, their options are what? Like, Aqua Jet max move into the Aqua Jet themselves, max moves into my Coalossal. It doesn't matter if I protect them fainting anyway. Their options are Max Guard Coalossal, Surging Strikes my Coalossal. It doesn't matter if I protect because I can't protect in front of Urshifu. Their options are, like, switch to Rillaboom and, like, max like detect or whatever. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Their options are switch to Rillaboom and Max Guard. Like if you go through every scenario, the only ones like there's no benefit to protecting ever. And just in case they switch, like they do something really wonky, like switch to Rillaboom and protect or Max Guard, I may as well click Heat Wave in case something goes wrong. Because even in a situation where I protect this turn, next turn I'm never able to protect because I have to Max Guard Urshifu, right? And they should always go for Grassy Glide plus Surging Strike. So even if I do protect this turn, and let's say I live by some miracle, I'm always Max Guarding next turn, and I can't protect in front of the Urshifu, and I can't KO the Urshifu this turn anyway. So yeah. There's no reason to protect here. So Coalossal goes down, but it did its job. It was definitely the bait that I needed, and I go for Gigantamax Fluido, which is G-Max Rapid Flow. And some people said, why did you max here? There's two reasons. Number one, this covered all the options, like because even if they decided to go for something really aggressive, like Max Guard, Coalossal, and Surging Strikes into my Coalossal, you can't use Unseen Fist through Max Guard, but you can use G-Max through it. And also, this Vocalith is still up, and I'm at this point, I forgot that I intimidated the Urshifu, so actually, I forgot that I intimidated the Urshifu right, I'll tell you when. I forgot that I intimidated the Urshifu right. I didn't intimidate it, I Breaking Swiped it, but you know what I mean. Right now. And I'm like, oh wait, I thought that I was going to have 2 turns in max to win this, but I only have 1. So yeah, it is the last turn of Grassy Terrain, which my opponent just checked there. They actually look into Woodhammer here, which I don't personally agree with, but it doesn't matter. Like, they know what I'm going to do here anyway. There's no, like, there's a world in which I decide to get really greedy and not max guard here. There's no world in which I do it, but I guess it's possible for somebody to do it. But yeah, I guess they figured, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, but it doesn't really matter. They're really with my target right now anyway. But yeah, basically, like, let's pretend that Coalossal survived this turn. They're always going to go for Grassy Glide into my Urshifu and Surging Strikes into my Coalossal. So, like, it's going down the next turn anyway. So there's really no reason to do anything else. But yeah, last turn of Grassy Terrain, so I'm going to Max Guard to make sure that Grassy Glide does not have priority because that move only has priority in Grassy Terrain. And Max Guard also allows me to protect in front of Urshifu, like we just mentioned, where you can't use Unseen Fist through Max Guard, but you can use G-Max moves through it. So, yeah, Grassy Terrain is going to activate here. This is the last turn of Vocalith, so this chip is now the last chip I have to take. And actually, this comes kind of down to the wire, as you'll see here, in terms of the damage dealt. But yeah, basically, like if I had waited a turn to max, then like I guess if I waited a turn to max, I would have been fine. Anyway, because I would have had more health in the remaining turns, but I think it was safer just to do what I did. But yeah, they're gonna go for Close Combat plus Grassy Glide or Woodhammer, which is what they locked into instead of Grassy Glide. I need to get rid of this. I need to get rid of this Rillaboom. They win the first speed tie. This one doesn't matter at all. In fact, in theory, it's worse to go first in this one. But it doesn't do that much damage, and I'm still at like 60%. But I run my calc, and I'm like, wait a second. Close combat to 60% here. And my +1 Aqua Jet doesn't do enough to their -1 Rillaboom, or -1 Urshifu, despite the fact that they close combated. So I'm like, oh my god, it comes down to a speed tie, and I'm like, well, you know, the game got kind of messy when my Rillaboom didn't go down to the Vocalith, so I can't be too upset about it. But I was like, please let me win the speed tie, please let me win the speed tie, please let me win the speed tie, right? I'm +1 attack, please let me win the speed tie. But yeah, like I'm like, okay, 50% chance to win is better than, and it's a roll to KO from this range. Like I run the calc, I see maximum damage, I'm like, okay. The odds are slightly in my favor. Either I win a speed tie or I live the roll. It's like 55% in my favor, 60% in my favor. I'm like, I gave myself the best odds possible, right? But I lose the speed tie, so I'm like, oh my god, please survive, please survive, please survive. And it does like way less than it should have done. And I was like, wait, what? Like, why did that do no damage? And then I remembered that the Breaking Swipe from earlier meant that this thing was -1 attack, meaning it was never a roll, and it was never a speed tie. This was a perfect endgame. I didn't set it up completely on purpose, but I got pretty close. But yeah, so I'm able to win 2-0 by Gigantamax Urshifu, and that's like one of my favorite games that I've played in a while. The Breaking Swipe turn, by the way, is so, like, it might think I'm stupid for forgetting, but here's the Breaking Swipe turn. Where is it? When do I actually Breaking Swipe it? Okay. I Breaking Swiped it 8 minutes ago. This is the turn, right? Sorry for Facebook. I'm sorry. Yeah, here. 27-29. I Breaking Swiped it, then I had to get through all the turns of the max, then I had to get through all the turns of my max. So, like, I mean, I was stupid for forgetting, and it was just because it was a really long set and my brain was, like, tired, but, yeah, that's a mistake that could have cost me the game if I had done something stupid. Like, if I thought they were in Aqua Jet range, maybe, like, I would have gone for 2 Aqua Jets, and I don't know, like, something bad might have happened, but, yeah, I was also lucky they had 2 chances to crit me at the end with 2 close combats, and neither of them crit, so, although I still had the 50% chance to win with the close combat at the end, so, yeah, I'm really proud of how I played this. I think the decision to Gigantamax my Urshifu, like, by far won me the set, and this game. And it was a tough matchup. The opponent was really good. They made so many good moves. Like, we were really going back and forth. But I think that like this endgame of realizing like, okay, I can Gmax my Urshifu. It's an option my opponent won't expect. I know that I'm slower with Coalossal, so I really can't go that path even if I wanted to. And there's only 2 turns of grassy terrain left, and they have no way of resetting it if I get rid of Coalossal this turn. I think that like this meticulously planned endgame is like really, really, really interesting. And I'm really proud of it. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I think that this is one of my favorite sets I've played in a long time. The game 1 was messy. Like, I made a lot of mistakes, and I was able to claw it back kind of just through sheer willpower. But the game 2, I think, it was like in my control in the early game. Mid game, I kind of lost it when they got their Vocalith up, and we were able to get their Coalossal into position. And then in the end game, I was able to bring it home with Urshifu. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Like, I'm really proud of this set. I think that Gigantamax Urshifu is like, it wasn't like, on your team, you're always going to have things that like you have the option of doing, and like I think when you're really comfortable with the team, you start to think about like using it in ways that most people wouldn't expect, right? And I think that that's where you can become really, really dangerous for the team, right? Like doing stuff like Gigantamaxing your Urshifu, which like I don't think I might have done it once in like hundreds of practice games. Maybe I Gigantamaxed my Urshifu once, right? But it was something that going into the tournament I thought about. Like, I made a conscious decision to use Gmax over Dmax. Like, I knew that it was an option, and like when I needed it most, it was there for me, right? And I think being able to be flexible with a team like this, even with Coalossal, which is a team where you're almost always maxing Coalossal, especially if you bring it to the match, I don't know. I think is like pretty. I think it's a really interesting way of playing Pokemon. So I was really proud of this. It was a good opponent. It was not a super good matchup. It was just an awkward matchup more than anything. Like, I don't think my matchup was inherently good or bad. It was just so there's so much detail that was required, so much attention to detail, and I was kind of drained from all my tight, like, close sets. So despite this being a 2-0, I think that like this is one of the ones I was most likely to lose. And I think that if I lost game 1, I might have lost the set, but I was thankfully able to win game 1. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I hope you enjoyed this. This is like one of my favorite sets to play in a long time, so I really hope you enjoyed watching it. GG's again to Miguel. Thank you for a very good set. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Next time will be versus Bingji, I think. I think Bingji's loses round 4, so that's a good set as well. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.